Hey everyone, welcome to your Venus in Pisces reading for all signs. This is a transit that is happening from today, January 3rd, which I'm recording this on, to February the 3rd. Yes, we'll have Venus exalted in the sign of Pisces for a full month, and we'll even experience a retrogradation back into the sign of Pisces around March, but we're going to talk about that retrograde closer to that time. For now, I just want to focus on the transit from January 3rd to February the 3rd. Okay, so just a little bit of an overview here. I think this is going to be one of the best Venus transits that we've experienced for some time. One, is exalted in the sign of Pisces. Two, it will have no harsh aspect to the planet Mars. So we know those are the cosmic lovers, Venus and Mars. And also it won't have any oppositions to it outside of that January 17th to 18th transit of the moon. But when it comes to like major planetary bodies, there will be no opposition. There is a square to Jupiter around January the 14th, and I would say for that, you know, it's two benefic planets, and Venus is in the sign of Pisces, which is ruled by Jupiter. So I don't feel that's going to be really harsh. We'll also have a conjunction around the 19th of January to Saturn, and Saturn is it's a planet that has demands. Okay, so it's like, okay, I'm giving you this thing, but I don't want to say it restricts you, but it has a lot of requirements from you, right? For what you want or what you're blessed with and what you do with it. Okay, I think February 1st to the 3rd is going to be such a beautiful time, and I'm gonna let you know the signs know where specifically for you in your chart this will be beautiful. But Venus and Neptune conjuncts on the February the 1st, and then on February the 3rd, Venus and the North Node conjuncts at 29 degrees. If you know astrology, 29 degrees is a very critical degree. That's a time where a sign and a planet, when they're at 29 degrees, is at its purest form. So you get Venus then at its purest form, and all the themes that are related to Pisces at its purest form. And as you know, Venus is exalted in the sign of Pisces. If you didn't know, now you know. Okay, for water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, this is happening in your Dharma houses. Okay, so that's houses 1, 5, and 9. And this is your connection to spirit, to the divine. This is your good karma. This is your, I want to say self-awareness, but also your connection to like your intuition as well. Okay, we're being very tapped into your gifts and your expression of your gifts, whether it's teaching, learning, expressing, okay, or just embodying that first house energy. So when you want to have that Venus Neptune conjunction and that Venus North Node conjunction, that will be a very great time if you haven't as yet to really like vision board, manifest, do some spiritual work that day. Okay, and this could also be the time where you see good karma come back to you. Give me a second that I want this to go off. Earth signs, Capricorn, Scorpio, Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus. This is happening in your relational houses, so houses 3, 7, and 11. Okay, so this is your connection to other peoples, your siblings, your neighbors, people in your small knit community or your wider community, like people that you converse with on a day-to-day basis as you commute, or people that you converse with on the internet, right? That wider network, or people in your like say if you go to a conference, people who are your peers, people you have contracts with, business partners, your siblings, I think I said that, cousin, nieces, aunts, nephews, as well as a committed partner. Okay, because seventh house is a committed partner, your best friends, those type of things. So these receive some type of blessings for you at this time. Things should feel a bit more smooth for you all. Some of you could find the right soul tribe with this energy, especially around February 1st to 3rd. Fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sag. This is happening in your moksha houses. The house of release, the house of surrender, the house of or karmic debts, right? Houses 4, 8, and 12, okay? So I feel this is a good time for you all to do some release work, whether that is you're at home and you're journaling, letting it out, you're going to see a therapist, you're going to see a life coach, you're transmuting energies inherited from your family, you're making changes with your family, that type of thing, okay? Air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. This is happening in your Arthur houses. This is houses 2, 8, and 10. So this is the house of I have, right? What you have. Money that you share with others. The status that you have in the world, right? That is receiving some type of upgrade, some type of blessing. Your money is receiving some type of upgrade or some type of blessing to them. Either the money or the assets that you have, or the money or assets that you share with someone else, or what you get, what you gain from the status that you hold in the world, okay? All right, so that's, wow, went on for 6 minutes. Okay, Aries, let's start with you. And for this, I'm definitely going to put up timelines with this, so that I run through it and you have the dates to reference. So first for you all, we have on January the 14th, Venus squares Jupiter in Gemini at the 11 degrees. This is happening between your 12th house and your 3rd house. Your subconscious mind is changing. The way that you think about things and communicate it, I feel that is what is changing for you, okay? And that could come from some type of communication or insight from someone in your community, someone that you meet as you commute. I just feel like your mind will be expanding in a favorable way, right? But of course, because it's a square, it's a discomfort of the change, okay? But I don't think that it will be too bad, okay? It's like you're going to be confronted with new information. It could be about yourself, you know, someone from the 3rd house communicates this with you. And I think because you know, Jupiter is there in your 3rd house, it's definitely about the expansion of your mind. But because Venus is there in your 12th house, it softens the energy of the awareness. It's like for so long you could have been mentally having some type of blockage, and then it's like overnight you have that aha moment, that dream, something that communicates to you or opens up your awareness, okay? And then we have on January the 19th, we're going to have 2 aspects that day that is happening at 16 degrees. So I'm saying the degrees because if you have placements around these degrees, it's especially potent for you, okay? We will have Venus conjunct Saturn, that's happening in your 12th house, and we'll have Venus in your 12th house sextiling Mercury in your 10th house. So let's talk about the sextile first between Venus and Mercury. This could be that you get some type of, because Mercury is about information, right? We also have to think about what the planets represent. Mercury is about information, documents, a change in status, and this is happening in your 10th house, which is about status, right? And then we have Venus there in your 12th house. You, because it's a sextile, and it is, sextiles are the nature of Venus, you could have some type of opportunity presented to you. And I think that it will come from either a foreigner or from some place that you have to travel over some miles or for some hours, that could change your status, okay? And this is where the Venus in Venus conjunct Saturn comes in for you all as well, because I feel, remember I said Saturn has requirements of you for the blessings that it gives to you. So I feel from the 12th house, it's the conjunction there will require you, even you may have to go somewhere new. Okay, like that will be the requirement for you to receive this blessing. You may have to go somewhere new, or if it's more subtle, since it is the 12th house and it has to do with your subconscious mind, or the self house also has to do with loss, like letting go, releasing, surrendering. And as I said, that the pen cap just fell to the ground. You may have to let go of something in order to accept whatever this blessing that is being presented to you in your 10th house. Okay, on January the 25th, if anybody knows, well, Aries, I'm at Aries, right? If you know anything that I could do, you know, when I'm talking, sometimes I could have like a lot of saliva that starts in my mouth. So yeah, sometimes you'll see me smacking, and it's just because I'm talking a lot. I'm not used to that. So we have on January 25th, Venus and Mars conjunct at 22 degrees. Sorry, Venus trine Mars at 22 degrees. So trines are the nature of Jupiter, very beneficial, very free flowing, very much setting the stage, and you just have to walk across it. Okay, so for you, this is happening between your 4th house and your 12th house. Move. You may have to move. Okay, I feel this energy for you all, Aries. You may have to move. Like the stage is set there for you to move, because that's between the 4th and the 12th. Or sell your house to a foreigner, maybe rent out your house to a foreigner. I'm not seeing any really 6th house transits here. Or there's something in your family line that affected you subconsciously, since the 4th house and the 12th house for you of fire signs are moksha houses, being able to like release some type of karmic debt. Okay, because Mars is here, Mars cuts, ends, and severs. It is retrograde. So you're going back over something here that maybe this thing was presented to you before, and now here's opportunity again. But perhaps because Venus is exalted in Pisces, the energy is so much more favorable for you now that you know you really don't have like you're the only one then who could hold yourself back from this opportunity. That's all I could say. That's all I could say. On the 26th of January, we have Venus in your 12th house that will sextile Uranus in your 2nd house. So 2nd house is about the way you make money. So I do feel, because of the houses that I'm seeing here, honestly, I feel like your story is move for a job, or make money through your home, or make money from people who are far away from your home. Okay, on the well, you could also, for some of you all, you could also sell something. It doesn't have to be your home, but you could set in motion to sell something that you have, because the 2nd house is about what you have, and gain money from it. But you know, because it's sextiling that 12th house, it's like, okay, you have to let go of it, right? You have to release it. But because Venus is there, I feel like you get what you receive in return from it is really good, and it could be very unexpected, because this is Uranus energy, right? On the 1st to the 3rd, we have Venus. On the 1st, we have Venus conjunct Neptune, and on the 3rd, we have Venus conjunct the North Node. These are all happening in your 12th house. Pay attention to your dreams. Write down your dreams. You're going to be very intact with your intuition. Pay attention to the signs and synchronicities around this time, because I really feel like, because you'll have the North Node for the next 2 years in your 12th house, it's going to do a lot for you all. This is the start here with Venus blessing it, you know, of what this transit of the North Node in your 12th house will be like for you, which has a lot to do with releasing, surrendering, healing at a subconscious level, traveling even. Maybe some of you all travel, get the dream opportunity with that Venus Neptune energy to travel. Like I said, during this time you might want to, for fire signs specifically, want to do some vision boarding, manifestation work. Okay, all right, let's move on. Taurus. Taurus, Taurus, Taurus. So, you know, your relational houses will be blessed by Venus. So your relationship with your siblings, or your siblings could receive blessings, and perhaps through some extension you get some type of blessing. But I'm going to go through each of the transit here. On the 14th, we have Venus there in your 11th house. That is squaring Jupiter in Gemini in your 2nd house. Okay, Jupiter is retrograde still in the sign of Gemini at that point. You could receive some, I don't know, maybe for some of you all an inheritance, or because the 2nd house does have to do like what you receive from family too. You could receive something from family here, and then maybe you have to share it with a sibling, because the 11th house is the house of the older sibling. So if you have a sibling above you, that could have to do with them. That may not be for every single person, right? I'm trying to give as much as possible. This is a general astrology, and I'm trying to give as much as possible different variations of how this energy could play out. For some of you all, this could be where it's interesting that I saw this the other day. And because Jupiter and Gemini is in your 2nd house, I saw the other day there was a situation on I don't know if it was TikTok or Twitter, but I saw it on Twitter, them talking about it on Twitter at least, about a landlord who saved money over the years in a trust, or just saved the money to give back to their tenant for their child's schooling, right? And there was a big debate about it, because some people are like, why would you think that's a good idea? And some other people are like, I love that idea. But this is just to show you how things could play out. This could be where you have something, Jupiter and Gemini, the blessing there in your 2nd house, and with the square from the 11th house, where people may judge you harshly about it. People in a wider network or people online may judge you harshly about it. The 11th house does have to do with your long-term gains from your career or your long-term aspirations. And so there could some type of clash between using what you have with Jupiter and Gemini, or using what we are being blessed with Jupiter and Gemini there, and because Jupiter is a greater benefit from the two, looking at how you could more cement this for long-term Jupiter energy, long-term, because you won't get Jupiter and Gemini again for another 11 years, versus doing it short-term with Venus and Pisces there in your 11th house. So this could even be friends who try to peer pressure you a little bit to do something now, versus you using that for something long-term. Okay, so I won't hold up more on that. We have 2 aspects on the 19th of January. So let's talk about the Venus Mercury sextile first, because that presents an opportunity. And like as I said in the beginning, Saturn has requirements that it puts upon you if it's trying to bless you with something, or if you have something, right? To whom much is given, much is expected. That is very much I feel Saturnian energy. So for you, this is all happening in your 11th house. You want to have some type of long-term gain when it comes to your career. You want to maybe build some type of network here, but you're going to have to tap into your 9th house energy. So that may mean you may have to travel to somewhere. That may mean you may have to learn another language. That may mean that you may have to enroll in a course of study. Okay, and it might be longer term studies since it is the 9th house. Okay, so 9th house, Mercury there in your 9th house. Mercury is about information. Mercury is about documents. Mercury is about learning. So I feel you'll get some information there on the 19th about something that you really want to commit to for the long term. Okay, so look out for that. On January 25th, we have Venus and Mars conjunct at 22 degrees, and that's happening between your 11th house and your 3rd house. So that was really high pitched, so sorry. It's not conjunct, sorry, it's a trine. I don't know why I'm saying conjunct. A trine between your 3rd house and your 11th house. Maybe you get along with siblings in that moment for some of you all. 11th house is the elder sibling, 3rd house is the younger sibling. So maybe there's something that comes up that allows a reunion between you all and you have a good time. That is for some of you all, not all of you all. This trine also, because Mars energy is involved and is involved from your 3rd house, there may be something that you have to cut out or make a decision on from your 3rd house. So let's say your floating IC is in your 3rd house. You may have to decide to move from somewhere in order to reap the blessings that Venus is trying to give you in your 11th house, which could be in terms of your long-term gains from your career. Okay, moving on to the 26th of January, we have Venus there in your 11th house that is sextiling Uranus in your 1st house. So I feel like because your 1st house have to do like everything about you, I feel like you just make a major change, major decision that you didn't expect or no one will expect you to make. Okay, and it is happening at 23 degrees. That is an Aquarius degree. Okay, so I do feel like it's definitely cutting out something here, or at least an announcement that shocks everyone. On February 1st to 3rd, we have some really beneficial lineups, and for you this is happening in your 11th house. So it does have to do with long-term gains from your career. It does have to do with your presence online. If you do have an online business, it does have to do like maybe if you have stocks, investments, friendships, again, like I said, an elder sibling, if you have one, all the blessings, the new beginnings, everything will be there in your 11th house. Even friendships, it will be there in your 11th house. So yeah, and moving on to Gemini. Okay, Geminis, I feel for Geminis, they are having a glow up or a rebrand that is happening for them, or the potential to rebrand over the next 2 years with the North Node in their 10th house. And you know, the start of this is when Venus in Pisces transit from January 3rd to February 3rd. Okay, so let's start off first with Jupiter in your 1st house that is squaring Venus in your 10th house. See what I'm saying about the rebrand? It starts off with a square. It starts off with you, and I've been saying this for some time with readings that I do every time I'm talking about Jupiter in the sign of Gemini for Gemini placements, that you're being forced to walk the talk. You're being forced to put your boundaries in place, stand on them, but you're also being forced to, I want to say, demonstrate the traits of Jupiter. Jupiter energy is very moral. Okay, it's about justice. It's about what is fair and what is right, taking the moral high ground in situations where maybe you might not want to do that. Okay, and Saturn has been there in your 10th house also, saying we're all looking at you. You want authority, you want respect, you want leadership. Well, with Jupiter in your first house, I need you to expand the way that you think. I need to expand your awareness. I need you to expand your presence in the world. Okay, you have to, Jupiter is very show up in the world, live out loud type energy, allowing yourself to be seen there once it's in your 1st house, right? Native Jupiter in the 1st house, people would notice that you can't really play small, like the world wants to see you, you know. So between this two energy, I feel like Venus wants to bless you with something there in your 10th house, but it does require that you show up for it with the square. You may even have to cut out something that you're comfortable, that has been a part of your identity. But think about the long-term gains that Jupiter is trying to give you right now. You're not going to get that again for another 12 years. So allow yourself to lean into it, okay? Moving on to 19th of January, we have 2 transits that day. So from your 8th house, Mercury, your ruler, is sextiling Venus in your 10th house. This is happening at 16 degrees, so if you have any placements around there, you'll feel this energy very potent. The 8th house does have to do with what we share with others, what we receive from others. So this could be you receiving more responsibilities. This could be you receiving money. You receiving something, right, from the 8th house. And because the 8th house is our moksha house as well, this could also be like downloads, because Mercury is there. Like spiritual downloads are just insights to your dreams, whatever have you, that puts forth for you an opportunity with Venus there in your 10th house to appear as that new you, to embark on that personal rebrand, or to honestly, I want to say for some of you all, show up without the trauma, because the 8th house is involved, and the 8th house does have to do with our trauma. But that may not be for all of you all, but I'm just feeling that for some people, that is like you get a new chance to respond to something, especially since you have Jupiter retrograde there in your 1st house. It's like you getting a new opportunity to I hope I'm making sense, but like my intuition involved with this is like I just feel like that's more so what it's gonna be, right? And 16th degree, after all, is a Cancerian degree, which has to do with things like our emotions and our home. So I do feel like, you know, it has to do with that type of thing. But let's move on to the other transits, which is Venus in your 10th house that is trining Mars in your 2nd house. So some of you, it could be you get a leadership position at work, you know, the shared responsibilities at work, it increases somehow. You sign some type of partnership contract or something like that, that gives you more responsibilities. You get a sign-on bonus, you get a job offer, right? Venus is there in your 10th house. And so your money increases. The opportunity for your money increase is there. The opportunity for what you have, you know, even if what you're blessed with from the 8th house, someone maybe gives you something from the 8th house, an inheritance, I don't know, they like you, they invest in you, not sure, you know, this could play out different ways for you all from the 8th house, but it is someone giving you something, you receiving something. So then what you have in the 2nd house then increases, okay? That's that trine energy. And so then your status in the world and how people see you, that increases, okay? And then we have on the 26th, Venus in your 10th house that is sextiling Uranus in your 12th house. Now, 12th house is a house of losses. Uranus is very shocking and unexpected, okay? So you might have to let go of something. This could be where some people say, oh, I'm resigning from one job, I'm taking another, because your 10th house is involved, okay? Or this could be where you said, I'm ending a marriage, or I'm ending a relationship. Your status in the 10th house is changing, okay? You could become a mom. I don't really see that here. Or I mean a parent. You could become a parent, or you could, especially Gemini moons or Gemini risings, yeah, you all could potentially become parents, especially Gemini moons with Jupiter transiting over your moon, right? Or something is changing there. Something that you're receiving is increasing what you have and your presence in the world. I need to try to condense these things. And then we have on the 1st to the 3rd a very blessed, prayers can be answered type energy, and it also, I feel, sets the tone for your North Node in Pisces story there in your 10th house, because you have Venus conjunct Neptune and then Venus conjunct the North Node all happening in your 10th house. So this is, like I'm saying, you want to rebrand yourself, you want people to see you differently. This is your second chance, okay? Your status, your reputation, your relationship to authority, maybe even your relationship to your father figures. All of those things, they're changing. They're giving you some type of release, some type of second chance. Okay, moving on. Cancer, this is happening in your 9th house, Venus in Pisces transit. Your connection to the spiritual world or to God, whoever you believe in at this time, is very strong. This is a time where ask and ye shall receive, right? That's what I'm feeling for you all. This is also a time where if you have any type of legal situations, you could, I would say, Mars is retrograde in the 1st house, so I don't know. Well, maybe while Venus is there, it just allows the connection to the people in authority, at least, or people in the 9th, represented by the 9th house, to receive you while Mars is in your 1st house in a more beneficial way, especially women, okay? As Venus represents women. So yeah. And then we have Venus square Jupiter. So this will be between your 12th house and your 9th house. Some of you may have to move, okay? There is that energy. I saw that for Aries. I'm seeing it again for Cancer. I'm gonna see if that comes up for Capricorn and Libra as well. But I'm seeing at least for 2 cardinal signs right now the energy of moving between that square. It being either moving or learning something new, like a new language, going back to school, learning about new customs and traditions. Maybe you get a job from, like, you know, one of those remote jobs, and it's somewhere far away from you, so you're gonna have to be dealing with like people with different customs and traditions from you, okay? But it's 2 benefics, so it benefits you, but it's just gonna be a lot of discomfort that comes along with it, or a lot of decision making that comes along with it, because squares are the nature of Mars, okay? You do have on the 19th 2 aspects that's happening there. Saturn is involved, so Saturn requires something of you here. You are going to, because it's from your 7th house, I feel with Mercury there, well, the potential is there for you to maybe sign a contract, right? Mercury does rule contracts. It's going to be in your 7th house. But because we have Saturn with the demand there in your 9th house, like I said, for some of you all, it may require moving. It may require going back to school, or you want to go back to school, but you have to partner with someone, or you have to, maybe you get a job, but they say, well, I'm going to need you to take these courses, or I need you to go back to school. Or 9th house could also have to do with HR as well. So perhaps you're going to have to sign on to something more long-term, all right? But I just feel between your 9th house and your 7th house there is some type of contract or commitment that you're going to have to make long-term here. Some of you all, I'm going to be honest, you could get married. 9th house does have to do with like things like weddings. 7th house have to do with a committed partner. Okay, so committing to something long-term, or at least having the discussion with Mercury there in your 7th house with someone about committing to something long-term. Okay, we also have on the 25th that Venus-Mars trine between your 1st house and your 9th house. Expect favor and blessing that day. Feels that's gonna be very beneficial. So like I said, some of you all have some type of legal situation, or you want to talk to a mentor or a guru, you want to ask them for something. Venus is blessing you from your 9th house, okay? You want to ask them for help with something. This is the perfect time to do that around January 25th. And then by the 26th, time 26 rolls around, we have Uranus in your 11th house that is sextiling Venus in your 9th house. So a mentor, a guru, a benefactor could really surprise you and show up for you in a way that is the right recommendation, turn you on to someone, investing in you somehow, okay? I keep making loud noises. So from the 1st to 3rd, I feel it's a very blessed time, especially for water signs. We have Venus, Neptune conjunct, and then Venus North Node conjunct, and I feel this sets the stage for what your North Node in Pisces story is going to be about. So your purpose, your connection to spirit, getting direct blessings from the divine is changing with the North Node in Pisces. And you know, by the time June comes around, Jupiter is going to be in your first house, so that even intensifies more the blessings that you will be receiving. This is a very blessed year for you all. Okay, your purpose is changing, your connection to spirit is changing. You might become teachers, you might connect with mentors, you might go back to school, you might travel somewhere, and it just be so life changing. Some of you all might get married too. Okay, Leos. Okay, Leos, I'm gonna try as much as I can to condense these things. Your story for Venus in Pisces is all happening in your 8th house. So some of you all could have inheritances. What you receive from others could be changing, especially if you have Gemini placements too, because they will have some 8th house transits as well. Let's start through the story. We have the square to Jupiter in your 11th house. So like I said, you could be receiving. The 11th house does have to do like our benefactors or long-term gains from our career. I think, and as well our elder siblings, I think that because Jupiter is there and Jupiter is a greater benefit in this situation, and Jupiter even rules this Venus in Pisces sign, transit, because Jupiter is a ruler of Pisces, you all, expectations will be upon you from the person represented by 11th house, or the thing that you want from the 11th house. You will receive the blessing through your 8th house, right? But just know that there's a demand there from Jupiter in your 11th house. So it's like what you receive, you can't just take that and go off and do whatever you want, thinking that there won't be any expectations on you to see the results of what has been given to you. That's what I feel. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not even gonna try to make these complex. And then on the 19th, we have 2 transits: Venus conjunct Saturn and Venus sextile Mercury. So the sextile is happening in your 6th house, which does have to do with your day-to-day life, your habits, your fitness, your health. Some of you all could be healing something here. Okay, I was getting that with 11th house. 11th houses have to do like pharmaceuticals and stuff like that. But you could be getting information about something as it has to do in regards to your health. The 8th house could also represent surgeries being cut. Okay, but I feel it could be life changing for you and very helpful. Okay, so the thing about it is, on the same day we have Saturn conjunct Venus, and Saturn is, you know, where the restrictions and the requirements and the dedication is. So it's all there in your 8th house. So let's say you're given more responsibilities at work, then in your day-to-day habits with Mercury there, Mercury presents it. Hey, I want you to, you know, be acting or interim something. And so through your 2nd house, I'm going to give you maybe like an acting allowance. But in your day-to-day life, if you choose to accept it, that means, you know, there's more that is demanded of you. Okay. And then let's move on to the 25th. We have Venus in your 8th house that's going to trine Mars in your 12th house. So 12th house does represent hospitalizations. That's why I feel for some of you all, you could have a surgery that comes up in the month of January for sure, or at least putting things in motion to do so. Okay, but I feel it's going to be life changing for you all. Outside of that, this could be maybe where a loved one transitions, because the 8th house does have to do with deaths as well, and someone could pass for you. I want to go back to this Venus Mercury situation in your 6th house. It's a possibility that a family member could pay off something for you, because the 6th house and the 8th house does have to do with what we owe others, or just someone could pay off something for you here, but maybe you might not like the commitment that comes with them doing that for you, okay, because Saturn is involved. We also have on the 26th Venus and Uranus in a sextile between your 10th house. That's what I'm saying for work. I feel like for work, some of you things will be changing with work. Between your 8th house and your 10th house, that sextile happens. So the shock factor come from the 10th house. So something's changing for you very publicly, or someone represented by the 10th house, an authority figure, a leader, a father. Something shocking happens with them. Could this be for you all, Leo, where a father figure maybe passes away? Yeah, because it's Venus from the 8th, sextile in Uranus from the 10th. So very unexpected, shocking. Or, you know, they don't have to pass. They could just maybe give you money. They don't have to pass. Okay. And then from the 1st to the 3rd of February, we have the Venus-Neptune conjunction and the Venus-North Node conjunction. It's all happening in your 8th house. So I feel you're going to be receiving something in your 8th house that is that's gonna bless you for some time, okay? Because the 8th house is a house where we receive. So it could be a surgery, it could be money, it could be responsibilities, but in the end you reap the benefits from it. Virgos, this is happening in your 7th house. Okay, Virgos, so you could get into a committed relationship, you could find a business partner, you could make peace with an open enemy, okay? Or your partner, if you have a committed partner, they could also receive some type of blessing that you benefit from. One second, I just want to make sure that I cover everything from the 7th house. You could get in some type of legal agreement or contract. You could get married, okay? Let's go over the transits. We have on the 14th the Jupiter-Venus square that is happening between your 7th house and your 10th house. So for some of you all, I do feel like your status is changing, okay? Some of you could be signing on to a job where you become like a manager or a boss, okay? Some of you could be, if you have a relationship, unfortunately, that was going downhill, especially if you're married, this could be a time where you separate, right? The blessings of Venus and Jupiter there is allowing for the decision making, the square, the cut and sever, that Martian energy that is influencing it, to dissolve peacefully, separation of assets peacefully, okay? On the 19th, we have two aspects, Venus conjunct Saturn and Venus sextile Mercury. So the Venus conjunct Saturn that is happening in your 7th house, there is some type of commitment that you have to either make or break, but Saturn is requiring more from you, and the information that you know is going to come into you through your 5th house. So this could be a romantic partner that's saying, hey, I want to be in a committed relationship, or hey, I want to get married. Or you realize that in order to be with this person, you know, long term, you don't want to lose them, you say, hey, let's get married, okay? The 5th house does have to do with our children, so maybe you have to make some type of commitment in regards to a child, some type of greater commitment in regards to a child. If you're an entrepreneur, this could be, because the 5th house does have to do with like or skills or hobbies that we turn to skills or we make a business out of. Then you could get some information there that maybe, you know, you could sign on to a partnership, get some type of grant, get some type of endorsement or collaboration. All right, moving on to the 25th, we have Mars in your 11th house that is going to trine Venus in your 7th house, and that's why I'm feeling like there's some type of partnership or collaboration that you all could do, because, or you get some type of promotion, because 11th house does have to do with our long-term gains from our career, and 11th house does also have to do with like our businesses that we have, right? And then on the 26th, we have Venus in your 7th house that's going to sextile Uranus in your 9th house. The 9th house for me does have to do with like HR, or it has to do with like signing documents, just like the 7th house. So I do feel around the 26th, 25th, so you all are going to be having some type of signing of a legal document, or some type of commitment that feels like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this came true, right? Ninth house also has to do with marriage, so some of you could be unexpectedly getting married too. That's a 7th house, 9th house sextile, right? And then on the 1st to the 3rd, we have Venus conjunct Neptune, and then Venus conjunct the North Node. This is all happening in your 7th house, so you could be experiencing marital bliss, or you could experiencing the benefits of some type of new contract that you have signed, okay? If you're a male, or you identify as a male and you're attracted to women or feminine energy, this could really be the time where things go well for you. All right, remember there's a retrogradation that's going to happen, but for right now, I would say for the 1st to the 3rd, enjoy the bliss, because this sets the stage for you for what the North Node is going to be like in your 7th house for the next 2 years. Okay, but remember that we start off first with that square to Jupiter in your 10th house, so your status is changing as a result of who you partner with. All right, be blessed.